Okay, how you doing, everybody? Arcader Zero here, Azrod Tom, with 10 things Daggerheart does better than Dungeons and Dragons. So I got the new book. Sat down, read through the entire thing. It's a fantastic book, and there was a lot of good things in there. There's some things I wish they had more of, but they're young, they're new. Obviously, they're working on things. But here are 10 things that I found in Daggerheart that they do better than Dungeons and Dragons. First thing off is hit points. I like the damage thresholds and how hit points are kind of calculated out as, if you do X amount of damage, that might be a minor threshold. You only take one hit point, or if you do a little bit more, that could be 2 hit points or 3 hit points. So I think it's fantastic. I think they did that much better. I like that a lot better. Some of it you can still roll big numbers, but it's a lot easier to track, and when you heal, it's more substantial when you get healing. So I like it so much better. It's weird when you're like seventh or eighth level in D&D and you get some healing and it's only a D4 or D6. Yeah, thanks for that. So anyway, I think that's good. The second thing is armor. Okay, I should make this second. Evasion. Evasion is second. Um, Evasion makes sense. When someone tries to hit you, uh, how agile are you to get out of the way? Your evasion score, I think, makes total sense. And then conversely, I like armor better because armor can help reduce the damage that you're taking. To me, that's what armor should be, instead of your AC just kind of be a amalgamation of armor and your dexterity and everything else, or the type of armor you're wearing. I like it because it gives you flair when someone tries to hit you. You can say, I evaded the attack, versus I got hit and I absorbed the entire attack. Because when you get hit, you can move those damage thresholds. You can check off an armor box and reduce the damage thresholds, by one step, all the way to 0. So armor invasion, much better than AC. Love it. Initiative. I like this personally because I've been playing a lot of the director's cut system or the Mist engine. To me, it makes sense. I think it's a lot more fair for people. Um, some people aren't going to like that. That's fine. That's personal taste. But I personally like that. For those that don't know, the initiative system is they use a spotlight system, so you can hand the spotlight off to somebody. What do you want to do? Okay, here somebody's attacking. Well, what do you want? And it gives that person a chance to say, okay, this is how my character would react, and do it. And then you go down the line, what makes sense for you. And of course, there are GM or DM intrusions, and you can spend fear. It's a whole thing, but I think it works out extremely well because I've been doing it in my games for a few years now. Number five, heritages. Okay, you get a lot of heritages in Daggerheart, a lot more than you do in your basic Dungeons and Dragons. And some people are like, "Oh, some of the heritages are stupid, man." I'm like, "Oh, fuck! Then don't use them." All right. But at least they give you a lot more. You don't have to buy extra books to get it. And I'm sure we're going to get more down the line, which will be freaking cool. But they give you a lot of different heritages. And I like the way they're set up. I like the way how you can do a mixed heritage. It makes absolute perfect sense. Take one benefit from one and another benefit from another and just kind of combine it together. I think it's freaking cool. It makes a ton of sense, and I like it a lot. So the heritages, I like them all. You got your classic ones, your human, your elf. You got the little bit more esoteric ones. You got the clanks, which are like robotic people. Think Eberron. And you have, your cat people. You have, turtle person. I think it's all cool, man. I like it. Oh, and the fungrel. They have a really cool racial ability. Which one of my friends had a character in another campaign that had this. The connection to the mycelial network, I think it's called. I could be saying that wrong. Where they can communicate through the spores and everything, which I think originates back to Swamp Thing, which I think my friend Alan Moore wrote that into the book. I could be wrong about that. Don't quote me. But ancestries, really cool. Um, Cards, the use of cards. I don't use cards, okay? So I really don't care. But for those people who are playing at a table, it's much easier to access because when I played at a table at D&D, I had to buy all the cards separate. They include all the cards. Awesome. So you have them. You know, people, I don't like cards. Oh, you can't, you have to use cards to play. No, you don't. Just write it on your paper like old style D&D, But I think the cards will help facilitate the play, make the encounters go faster. And they're chock full of awesome art and they're cool cards. So
Win, win, win.
oh, yeah, they did it better. Thanks for giving that to us, Darrington Press. I don't know whose idea was that. Let's include the cards. They must have looked at him and say, "What? No, we sell them, make more money." And somebody stood up in that room and said, "Nope, nope. We're going to give them the cards with the book." Thank you. Ranger pets, animals, ranger pets, and the druid shapeshift. They did this a lot better. I love the ranger pets in this. Makes a lot more sense. They're a lot more useful. And one of the things I like about it is they don't have hit points. They have something called stress. You could do severe damage to the pet. It doesn't matter. You're not taking 4 hit points. Every time they get hit, they only take 1 stress. And when they get down stress, they retreat. Okay. Yeah, let's not kill the animals. That's kind of cruel. But I mean, if you wanted to, you could, kit bash it to where, yeah, your animal died. Oh, that's sad. But I like the fact that you can kind of design your own animal, given its own experiences, so they're good at stuff, and done really well. And the druids and the shapeshifts. So you have it by tiers. You have access to different ones, but you got access to like aquatic ones right in the beginning, which I don't think you do in D&D. They might have changed it since 2014. I can't remember. Brain is a little fuzzy, but I like the way they do it. The way it gives you advantages, the different abilities they have, and they list them out like you have a powerful beast, okay? And that could be anything from a bear, a moose, something really big and strong. And so you can shape change into all these things. I don't think we even really followed it, but the druid's supposed to be in D&D. Only animals you've seen. What animals did he see? I'm just starting to play, So it's always kind of a battle back and forth. I think I've seen this. Where would you see that? I don't know. Maybe I saw a picture of it somewhere. Do you need to see a picture, or do you need to see a painting, or it just kind of takes all that out. So that's much better too. And while we're talking about like animals get experiences, let's talk about experiences. I love experiences. I think this is so much better. There's one thing they do better than D&D that customizes your character and really makes it your own. So an experience is something that you write down on your sheet, and you can get a +2 to rolls if it's applicable. So let's say I was, raised in a thieves guild. Okay, so being raised in a thieves guild might give me advantages on doing thieving stuff. It might give, not advantage, it'll give you a +2 on your roll. Advantage is something different. But it might give you a +2 when trying to locate a thieves guild in the area. You spend your hope and you get that bonus. I think that's really cool. And you start with 2, you can add more as you level up. And I think it's much better than a static skill system or anything like that, because it really shines, and people can come up with all sorts of different things, and it really enforces the creativity of your players, which I absolutely love. So experiences, 4 thumbs up. I did it twice. What else? Number 9, death saving throws. Okay. I kind of liked the death saving throws in D&D when it first came out. It's like, oh, that's kind of cool. Makes sense. I don't just die or, go down to hit points and everything. But the death saving throws here are so much better. They give you so many different options of what you want to do. And I'm trying to remember them off the top of my head. One is you can go out in a blaze of glory. Okay. So you get a automatic critical, and you can do something absolutely amazing. Then you fall down and die. You can say, okay, my character's done. I'll make a new one. You can go unconscious, and there's a chance you take a scar, which means you permanently lose 1 hope slot, I believe it is. which is also kind of cool. Okay, no, I want to keep my character. Don't want to risk it. Just I'll take the scar. So come back with this scar, and maybe you write an experience about it. Cool, very thematic. Love it. And then there's another one where it's let me think. Um, you kind of risk it all, where you roll the dice, the fear and the hope dice, and if the hope die is higher, you come back up. You have some hit points. You're ready to fight again. And if you roll the fear is higher, you're going to die. But if you roll a critical success, you regain all your hit points, all your stress, everything. And you're like, I'm recharged, ready to go. And that's the gamble. So it gives the player more choices. It's in their hands, because it's upsetting when you work on a character for hours, a backstory, and you die. I had a character. I worked on this. I worked on his whole backstory, wrote a whole big thing. First adventure, he was like a fighter too. First adventure, I think it was level 1. This ran into a minotaur skeleton that just cleaved me in half, and I was dead. And that was it. He did double my hit points and damage, and no coming back from that. And I was just like, really? Fucking bummer. But I made some other cool characters in that campaign, so don't worry about me. Um, but yeah, so I think the death saving throws in Daggerheart are probably about 1,000,000 times better. Don't quote me on the math, but it's up there. It's around there. And speaking about encounters and battles, the CR versus battle points. Okay, um, the way they rate bad guys and encounters and stuff. So if you're looking at challenge rating in D&D, you're saying, okay, that's a challenge rating. Honestly, I've been running D&D for so long, I still don't understand how they calculate out the damage rating, the challenge rating in D&D on some of those monsters. Because I look at it and I'm like, really? They're going to tear through that. That's not really that tough. And, you really have to work to play it. Sometimes I would just double up the hit points. Or it's a smaller challenge, but they would really tear through them. My camera just zoomed in because I did something with my hands. I don't know the hand gestures for this. Hold on a second. That's crazy, isn't it? But yeah, but they have something in Daggerheart called battle points. So, and they have uh, they just have like this simple numerical guide. It is math, but it's really simple math. I mean, come on, if you're playing D&D, you know a little bit of math, but it makes a hell of a lot more sense, and I absolutely love it. So that's number 10. The battle point system in Daggerheart is much better than the challenge rating system in D&D. And that's 10 things Daggerheart does better than D&D. Some of the faults of Daggerheart, which I won't really get into, but it's more because they're a young company, because they don't have tons of expansions out, and they're going to do that. I have full faith that Critical Role, Darrington Press, those guys over there, they're friggin' fantastic. They know what they're doing. And I think I've said this before. It's because, first of all, they know how to tell stories. They work in Hollywood. Okay. They're great about that. They're good about business. Okay. They're successful. They didn't crowdfund this. They didn't kickstart it. Though I think they would have got a lot more money if they did, but they did it themselves. They did it on their own terms. They released it out to us. We gave all our feedback to them, which was awesome. And they're still doing that. They have something on their site now called The Void, where they're trying out new things and they're putting out there. Take a look at this. Use it in your campaign. Do you like it? Awesome. And I think that's what's going to continue to make them better. There are other good Dungeons and Dragons alternatives out there, but I think this one is going to be the one that kind of rises to the top. And all the support they give you, their videos. I wish I thought of this name. Get Your Sheet Together. That's fucking funny, man. I don't know who thought of that over there, but that's really good. That was really funny. And Gist for short, get the gist of it. Somebody over there is friggin' clever, man. But yeah, so they have that going on their YouTube channel, Get Your Sheet Together. But anyway, fantastic, excited. If you haven't guessed, I'm going to be stop running D&D and I'm going to start running Daggerheart. So, because I think it's a fresh new system and this is something that kind of been looking for a while. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Give them down below. Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Write it out there. Hit like and subscribe to YouTube stuff for me. It helps. I never look at the numbers that much, and people say I should, but I've been pretty busy. Anyway, sending love to you all. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Bye.